Oh, everything looks good. Time to start more role quests. The final one, actually. I heard this one's the best one. If you are ready to lend us aid, I'll apprise you of the situation. We've received reports of a creature believed to be a blasphemy stalking the streets of Alamigo. Troops have been assigned to track and slay the beast, but there are likely to be casualties. With most of our healers posted elsewhere, we had thought to petition you for aid. I would be glad to help. Once again, we're in your debt. We shall inform Commander Aline forthwith. My comrades in the Immortal Flames will be glad to have you watching over them. They better be glad. You see, as there have been no sightings of any blasphemies in our lands, we have joined our Alamigan allies in their hunt for the fiend. Trouble is, the majority of our own healers are working day and night to treat the tempered Imperials captured at Pagalthon. For that reason, we too will be glad of your help. Your presence alone will be of great comfort to the troops. As time is of the essence, I ask that you make your way to the Alamigan quarter and report for duty. Commander Aldine is overseeing the hunt. He will explain all upon your arrival. May Ralger grant you strength. Alamigan quarter. I have not been there in a long time. I'm going this way. What's going on over there? It's just over here. Blasphemy Hunter. Mistress Dotharl. We were told you were on your way, but this is even quicker than expected. I'll tell Commander Aldine you've arrived. One moment, please. Glad you could join us. Haven't seen you in a while. I like Raubon. Now that the far greater crisis has been resolved, we may and must turn our undivided attention to matters of a smaller but no less deadly scale. I'd like nothing more than to hear about your recent adventures, but I'm afraid such pleasantries will have to wait. He won't believe anything that I've been through. As a man in Thavnair will have told you, a blasphemy is loose in Alamigo. That's an interesting design. When it first appeared, the city guard were able to get most of the bystanders to safety. And for a mercy, those caught in the chaos only suffered minor injuries. But the fiend managed to escape and has not been seen since. We must find it, and soon, for as long as it remains at large, every man, woman, and child is at risk. As was the case in Thavnair, the blasphemy's very existence seems to spur the creation of lesser beasts. The longer it is allowed to roam free, the more tragedy our people will suffer, and the more of them will turn. Did anyone see the change take place? Aye, there were several eyewitnesses who gave the same account. A man walking through the Alamegan quarter fell to his knees all of a sudden, and a moment later transformed into the monstrosity we now pursue. Beyond the fact he was a young Highlander, we know next to nothing about him. Even the descriptions of his appearance are too vague to help identify the lad, and we've no clues as to his name or background. I just realized something. They could definitely, like, we're obviously going to other continents that we've only heard about but never seen in future expansions. I wonder how they're dealing with how they dealt with the blasphemies. Did they solve them? Are we going to go there and help them with it? Are we going to figure out a cure for it, like we did with the tempering? I'd like to see that. Oh, for all we know, he might not have even been born in Alamigo. Might have been the son of refugees come to visit. There are other possibilities we're investigating though. That said, I doubt his circumstances are unique. Blasphemies and beasts are born when men are overcome by despair, and whatever drove him to turn likely would have done the same to another. Therefore, if we are to prevent future tragedies, it is imperative that we identify and address the underlying cause. Until we do, we'll have no choice but to deal with the afflicted the only way we know how, by granting them a quick death. For now, I would have you join the hunt, and keep my men from falling prey to these creatures. Are you up to it? Of course. You have my thanks. And as chance would have it, we've just received word that a number of beasts were spotted on the outskirts of Algana. The troops stationed there have already put them down, but were wounded in the process. First and foremost, they need medical attention, and that's where you come in. I'll meet you there. Alright, I'll be there. Okay, Algana. Look, it's my own damn fault for being so careless. What must Commander Aline think of me? Knowing what they are, who they were, could any of us end up like that? Yep. Although the soldiers were able to lead the beasts away from the village and cull the lot of them, victory did not come easily. It's times like these that our lack of healers is most sorely felt. I dare say they've yet to receive any treatment at all. Just see to their wounds while I survey the area for any stragglers that may have escaped. Once I've completed my patrol, I'll head to the village to gather eyewitness reports. Look for me there after. Alright. Tend to the soldiers, okay. Okay, I need to talk to them? Yeah, I just need to talk to them. Gods be good, I feel reborn. Hold on, you're Davel, aren't you? I can't believe it, you're the one who inspired me to join the Resistance. The Resistance in the first place. And now you've come to save me in my hour of need. I'll never forget this. Thank you, thank you. Sure. I love my little cat. I saw them change right before my eyes. Those weren't monsters I killed, but innocent men. But it had to be done. There were others we had to protect. And thanks to you, I can continue to do just that. Once I've made my way back, I'll give you a full account. The families, they'll understand. Probably not at first, but goes well. I wonder if my cat understands at all what's going on. Oh, it's Arenvald. Arenvald. It was good of you to come all this way, though I never doubted for a moment that you wouldn't. Treating the wounds of those soldiers, you have my thanks. And theirs too, no doubt. It seems they were indeed successful in slaying all the beasts. If my search is of any indication, but we must remain vigilant. I've also spoken with several people who witnessed the moment of the transformation, though the ordeal has understandably left them rather shaken. I hear you've been through a fair few ordeals yourself, Davel. A ton. As for me, I've been kept busy with this and that, like getting the hang of this wheelchair. Obviously, it has its limitations, but it gets me where I need to go. I've been working with this new organization as well, which is what brought me here, but no sooner had I arrived than those locals turned. Ragenfried, I heard you were there when it happened. What can you tell us? The ones who underwent the change are the very people we were trying to help. Perhaps I should explain from the beginning. The meeting Lys held in the royal palace marked a turning point for all of Girabania. It spurred us to open a dialogue with peoples and communities we otherwise would have shunned. But there's still so many problems to be addressed, and countless souls struggling to build new lives for themselves. I decided to form a volunteer group. The Silver Griffins. Our main concern is the welfare of Alamegans, who sided with the Empire. For whatever reason, and helping them find their place in society. In particular, the surviving families of the Crania Lupi. Well, I thought you despised the skulls. Make no mistake, I've not forgiven them. I don't have that in me, and I doubt I ever will. But the memory of that day in the palace, Fordola asking to be locked up again after saving us all, it stayed with me. Got me thinking about why she and the other youths would commit such atrocities, why they'd swear to serve the Empire, and the answer was simple, because they'd seen what we'd seen and suffered much the same. In a hell where all were condemned, they chose to betray one brother to save another. That's how the Garleans win, not by breaking you, but by making you break yourself, by making that choice the right one. Making that choice the right one for a man at the end of his tether. Healing only begins with liberation, and some scars never will regardless. Those who've returned from foreign lands may have difficulty carving out the living here, but the ones who'd pledged allegiance to Garlemald? This is not the Alamega we dreamed of, but after 20 years of misery, I'll not see it all thrown away because we can't come to terms with the past. That's why I formed the Silver Griffins, to see that no one is cast aside. It's a cause I support, and it's what brought me here today. I've been acting as mediator. Aye, and in the short term, he's been with us. He's proven himself. Aye, and in the short time he's been with us, he's proven himself a natural. But despite our early successes, the families of the Skulls continue to refuse our help. I think I see where this is leading. They're the ones who turned, yes? Of course. It comes as no surprise. They tormented and murdered fellow Alamegans. Anyone with a conscience would feel shame and guilt, and for some it might be too much to bear. I think might know why they're turning us away. It's a sensitive matter, though, so let's go somewhere we won't be overheard. I'm glad we're seeing Arenvald more. It's about one of the men who turned. I saw his memories. With the echo? I'll not pretend I understand it, but tell us what you learned. Only caught a glimpse, but that was enough. It was during the occupation, a man raising his son. Only the two of them, but they were family. To keep his boy clothed and fed, he chose to side with the Empire. He knew what others would say, but he did it anyway. And so he was branded a traitor. Every day his son listened to the jeering, the insults, but there was nothing he could do. When he came of age, he joined the Skulls in the hope it would make life easier for his father. He never dared to question his orders, no matter how depraved. He died in the revolution, but not before killing his own countrymen. His father wept not for the betrayer and murderer, but for the man he could have been. He blamed it all on himself, right up until the change took him. I can only pray he and his boy have finally found the peace they were denied in life. Alas, theirs is an all too familiar tale. They cannot forgive themselves, nor can they see how anyone else could. The sins of their kin weigh heavy on them. They think themselves undeserving of our compassion. If they carry on like that, they'll turn into beasts. We've got to help them before it's too late. Growing up half Garlean and Alamigo, I know how it feels to be shunned and hated to hate myself. But so long as we give ourselves and others a chance, we can change for the better. And while I might not be as clever or eloquent as someone like Alphino, I know I can make a difference. I might not be quite the swordsman I used to be, but I'm still a fighter at heart, and I owe it to Abba and Auli to make the most of this life so long as I've got it. We silver griffins will give our all to see that no more beasts or blasphemies ravage Girabania again. So, Commander Aldine, do we have your approval to continue our work? Of course, there's no enemy more formidable than despair, and I'd be a fool to refuse your help. That even a single one of our people has succumbed to this transformation is proof of our failure to protect them. Therefore, I pledge the Silver Griffins my unconditional support. Together we prevail. Now that we have Devel on hand to aid the troops, I believe we are ready to face any beasts we encounter. Though I fear it is only a matter of time before others appear. I ask that you lend the Silver Griffins your assistance in the meantime. Okay. Very good. For now, let's return to the city. I wonder when Fordola is going to be introduced, because she's obviously going to be. Those who harbor guilt do so not because they are weak of heart, but because they have failed to meet the demands they make of themselves. It was the same for me when I believed that my failures had led to the Sultana's assassination. The despair and self-loathing were indescribable. I was fortunate that you and the other scions came to my rescue, that I had friends who convinced me I was more than the sum of my worst mistakes. Now we must do the same for the people of Alamigo. We must help them heal and find the strength to, if not forgive, then come to terms with with who we were, so that we can look to who we can be, who we should aspire to be. This is precisely why the work of the Silver Griffins is so vital. Though our problems are not new, the emergence of this deadly phenomenon means we cannot afford to delay addressing them any longer. And we will be better for it, ultimately. Once we've decided a course of action, you'll be the first to know. Until then, may Ralgar watch over you. We were hoping you'd stop by. I'll show you to Commander Arlene at once. You're a welcome sight as always, Davel. Aye, and lots happened since last we spoke. We Silver Griffins have been keeping busy. As have I and my men, but I'm afraid we've little to show for our efforts. Although we've been searching high and low for the blasphemy, we've seen neither hide nor hair of it. Unfortunately, anyone else has had better luck. We've received reports of lesser beasts throughout Girabania, and putting them down is as important as hunting the blasphemy that got away. To complicate matters, rumors have been circulating that these beasts were the Skull's kin. While this was true of the recent incident of Alagana, we cannot have people jumping to conclusions, given what they might feel tempted to do. It has been suggested that we take these individuals into custody, for their own protection as much as the safety of others, but that would only isolate them even further and give credence to the rumors. The recent unrest has hindered the efforts of the Silver Griffins to no end. Therefore, I ask that you aid them in their endeavors, and see if there is aught that can be done. Also, you'll be joined by another volunteer. Try not to be too surprised. Fordola? I thought I felt my ears burning. Sounds like Fordola. See that correctly? I said I don't need a keeper, but did they bloody listen? Did they bollocks? Come on, don't be like that. This is what you agreed to. Besides, you never know when you might have need of a healer, and there's none better than Davel. He's right, you've earned a measure of trust, and this shouldn't be taken to mean otherwise. Thick as thieves are we now, then there's no need for this sodding collar. Sodding collar, aye? We all know it's not coming off anytime soon, but if this is how it's to be, then fine, so long as she keeps out of my way. I want the two of you to visit the Silver Griffins' headquarters in Alagana. Several relatives of the Crania Lupi have agreed to meet with them, and we could do with a measure of, precaution. If anyone as so much as mentions the skulls, I'll deal with it. Understood? I was so confused when she walked over. This sword looked like a tail. Let's get this over with. I was like, has she been a Makote this whole time without ears? She's as much at risk of turning as anyone, maybe even more so. You don't need the echo to see the weight she's carrying. She's still not got a handle on her own echo, either. Sometimes the visions come without warning, and with such force that it's all she can do to stay standing. There's no telling what might happen when she's come face to face with the family of her former comrades. So look out for her, please. Alright. I wish there was more I could do for myself. We've all got our own duties, and we'll see them through to the end. So must we all. Follow Fordola's lead. We're counting on you both, but be ready to step in, even if she curses you for it. Will do. I feel like she'd curse me for it, regardless if I helped or not. Fordola's not the sort to ask for help. So make sure she doesn't get in over her head, would you? Will do. I had a feeling Rabon would send you, Davel, but as for her, if you've got any complaints, take it up with the commander. No, it's fine. Truth be told, ever since that day at the Royal Palace, I've been thinking. Stop. You don't want to say it, and I don't want to hear it. To the matter at hand, then. We Silver Griffins have been working to support the relatives of the Crania Lupi, but one family has gone missing. A mother and her parents, who lived together under the same roof. One of ours paid them a visit, but they were nowhere to be seen. And when they went inside to check, they found the house had been torn to shreds. Thick gouges in the floor and the walls, made by a beast's claws, by the look of them. You think they've turned? Aye, that's the most likely explanation. Please do what you must before anyone else is hurt. There's no time to waste. I'll head west. You east. It's going to be up here, I think. These definitely look like some blasphemies. I don't need any tank. I handled that all by myself. In the dirt, you spy an envelope containing a crumpled, tear-stained letter. Dear Mother, I hope this finds you well. Time is short, so must keep this brief. Although I have never done anything to make you proud, I promise you things will be different when the war is over. Until then, take care and know that I love you with all my heart. Placing the letter back into its envelope, you turn your attention to finding the others. Come on. Damage over time can finish him off. There we go. Time-worn wedding ring. Discover what appears to be a wedding ring with the name and date engraved on the inside. With seemingly no more clues to be found, you decide to report to Ragenfried. You find anything, Fordola? What's done is done. I take that as a yes. Were you able to find anything? I found this letter and this ring. Then it is as we feared. I found and killed a third. He was carrying this. A matching ring. I'll deliver these effects to the next of kin and arrange for a funeral. Or as close to one as possible under the circumstances. There's no changing the past. We'll always carry it, and the scars. But no matter who we were or what we did, we're Alamegans, then and now. The Empire was our enemy then, and now it's despair. Good words and deeds will serve us best in this fight. Weapons even an old man like me can yet wield. Thanks to the two of you, the missing villagers may finally be laid to rest. I and the other Silver Griffins will redouble our efforts to prevent any further tragedies. I finished checking the wares, sir. Everything's in order. Who's this? Good work. Take a rest, lad. You've more than earned it. Keep this to yourselves. But Everett's younger brother was a member of the Crania Lupi. He's exactly the sort of person we're trying to help. Like many of the others, he was reluctant to talk to us at first. But after we'd gained his trust, we were able to help him find work. He's taking to it well. Oh, he's scared. It's her, the butcher. Traitors, all of us. Kinslayers deserving of hate and death. Well, this triggered this definitely triggered some PTSD in him. Great. He seemed nice. Get back. Get back. Am I not the one who's going to have echo visions in this quest line? Oh, it's drooling. Hopefully that didn't hurt her too much. Seemed like it did. Great. Stay away from her. Ordola saved your girl's life. I know. I know, but she's... happened in an instant. That poor lad. But it had to be done, and without hesitation. Would have been much worse otherwise. Could you go after Fordola and see to her wounds? I'll do what I can here. Sure thing. I feel bad for Fordola, but this is the path of redemption. Not everyone's going to be forgiver. And her victims are not obligated to forgive her. The best she can do is become better. That's it. I'm fine. Leave me be. I said I don't need your help. I'm a healer. Let me do my job. God, you're like a dog with a bone. Go on then and make it quick. I love Astro's animations. Pearl can't change its spots, and there's no washing the blood off my hands, nor would I even if I could. Taking up Garlean's steel was the first choice, but not the last. Like the first kill, the hardest. Every choice after that came easier and easier until it stopped counting. Until I stopped counting, stopped caring. You tell yourself it's right, it's for the greater good. You give the order, feel the ground tremble as the cannons fire, and when the dust settles and your own men are buried beneath the rubble, and you tell yourself, oh no. Me too. I won't let it take you. Okay, that calmed her down. That man in the village, I saw his past. I'm the one who killed his brother. I'll be alright. I just need a moment. Can you wait with me? Everything the skulls fought for, the sacrifices we made, the things we did. In the end, it was all for nothing. Sometimes I look back on the road I walked, and the bitterness I can still taste. And I wonder, if I'd grown up in another time, another place, would I have done the same to a different people? Was it always in me to be me? All I know is, everyone would have been better off if I'd never been born. But I was, and I dragged others into a hell of my own making. I remember these two brothers in particular, childhood friends of mine. The other one enlisted with me, but the younger, he would never have made it as a soldier. He was too kind, too good. Ansfrid died at Specula Imperatoris, but his brother's still out there somewhere. Not that I've got the courage to face him after what I did. I hope he's found the life he deserves. Not all of the crania lupi at the towers died that day, though. I know from one of my visions that at least one survived. Rudolph? I'm glad he made it. I'm glad he made it out, but too many others didn't. Too many others still need our help. I helped make this blasphemy, and by Ralger, I'll kill the bastard if it's the last thing I do. Anyway, that's enough out of me. I'll be heading back to the city to make my report. I suggest you do likewise. Why am I getting in this? I like my car, but I like my bird. Welcome back. Fordola's already given her account, and I'd like to hear yours too. Well, she almost turned. So she almost turned into a beast herself? Well, we'll have to take that into consideration before sending her into the field again. As far as the events in Alagana are concerned, the two of you did well. Despite the appearance of several beasts, you were able to prevent any further casualties. However... Where was I? Oh, you were able to prevent any further casualties. However, this serves to confirm that those with connections to the crania lupi should be considered at risk of turning. Over the years, many of them have drifted away from the larger settlements, have taken to living in secret. Others made their way to Ul'dah as refugees, including some individuals of interest. As such, we'll be working closely with the Immortal Flames to locate and offer support to those refugees in particular. In fact, I plan to make the journey there for an audience with the Sultana. Once my preparations are complete, perhaps you might accompany me? I'm sure she'll be glad to see you. Okay. I'm fine with seeing the Sultana again. You to see Commander Aldine, I take it? This way, please. Our request for an audience with the Sultana has been accepted. Before we depart, I'll share what we've learned since last we spoke. The blasphemy continues to elude us, all the while driving others to succumb to despair and turn. Even with Alamegan and Ul'dah forces searching for the signs of the beast and more potential victims, we've yet to discern a pattern in the chaos. Nevertheless, if our blasphemy is like others, its behavior is likely dictated by the passions and regret of the man it once was. Therefore, any information concerning him and the life he led may help us to track it down before it strikes again. We don't want people to shun the families of the skulls any more than they already are, but the fact remains that the vast majority of the beasts have been born from them. They're the ones at greatest risk of turning, without question. Rodola concerns me too. She came close to transforming once before, so I think it might be best if we keep her out of this after all. She deserves a chance to make amends. I'm inclined to agree with Devel. She was able to resist the transformation and has shown no signs of succumbing since then. If she wants to do her part, I say we let her. If only I could go in her stead. Actually, I was hoping you'd come with us to meet the Sultana. I believe she would benefit greatly from your understanding of the struggles of our people face. You'd gain from the experience too. While she's not the sort to brandish a sword and charge into battle, you'll soon discover she's a champion of her own arena, as brave as any warrior. I love how much respect he has for her, for the Sultana. I doubt she'd have much to learn from the likes of me, but it would be an honor to make her acquaintance. Arenvald and I will go on ahead and wait for you in the hustings strip. We'll see you anon. Bum bum ba bum bum bum. Husting strip. Over there. Oh yeah, it's a Valentine's event. I should do that at some point. I only let her out of my sight for a moment. Okay, where is she? It's the first time I've been back here since I discharged myself from the infirmary without telling anybody. Without telling anybody, mind. I must remember to stop by and offer my thanks and an apology. Master Papashan was just telling us that Nanamo, or should I say Lady Lilira, has gone on another of her jaunts about the city. Though it is not my place to question her Grace's judgment, I do wish she had consulted me before running off on her own. And perhaps I'm overthinking it, but it's unlike her to keep guests waiting. If I may say so, sir, with blasphemies appearing throughout the land, it's dangerous time to be going for a stroll. I suspect that may be the very reason she wishes to see for herself how the citizenry fare in these trying times. Even so, it's downright reckless. We'll find her, though. Of course. No. I couldn't possibly allow such esteemed guests to... Come now, we might be here on official business, but we're old friends, and as you may remember... I have a knack for tracking down errant sultanas. Some might say that knack is that knack is a rather charitable. I should be glad of the assistance. I'll take a look around here. Quizzing the locals will give me an opportunity to learn of recent goings-ons in Ul'dah too. Well then, there's no time like the present. Fear not. With me on the case, this will be over before you know it. It won't be. Merchant Strip. Okay, I'll go there first. I think I was supposed to go there anyway. It's been some time since I last combed these streets for young Lilura. As a matter of fact, Papa Shun and I would compete to see which of us could find her first. As I recall, most of the contests ended in my favor. Probably because he's so damn tall. The trick, you see, is to look past the disguise and pay attention to the gestures and mannerisms. The tiniest movement that might give her away. Come, I'll show you how it's done. Well, that helps too. He's literally got a bird's eye view, unlike Papa Shan. Follow my lead. She's fond of pursuing the stalls here. I'm not seeing her. If she's not here, where could she be? What if she's been abducted? Oh, he's worried now. It's in one of these pots, perhaps? No. I've never known her to be this elusive. It's okay, Rabon. That's odd. I've tried all her usual haunts, so unless she's hiding inside a barrel or something equally nonsensical, she must be elsewhere. Gods, why did she choose now of all times to run off? What if she's been abducted or run afoul of a beast? Perhaps we could try asking around. Aye, I was about to suggest the same. We'll find her a lot quicker if we start by narrowing down who we're going to ask. Come to think of it, something Papa Shan said caught my ear. He thought Nanamo went on this excursion because of the emergence of the blasphemy and the beasts. To better understand how her people are coping with the situation. If so, she'd be driven to seek out the most desperate and destitute. Pearl Lane, then. If I'd ask you to lead the way, I'll admit my ability to track missing persons may have dulled somewhat. Pearl Lane has never been plagued by pickpockets and the like. I'll watch your back, so go ahead and give this search for Lilura your full attention. While it may not be immediately obvious, conditions here have improved considerably of late. Her Grace continues to support the rebuilding efforts in Girabania, which has led to the creation of jobs for many of the locals, both here and on the other side of Baelsar's wall. I like it when I can do this with an NPC. In every society, there are the haves and the have-nots. And seldom is this divide more sorely felt than here in Ul'dah. Many of the young and able-bodied work for Lolorito as guards, though he earns more in an afternoon than most will in a lifetime. Yep. Wonder if we found her. There she is. Nana, Lady Lilira. Raoban, whatever are you doing here? Adevel too. Well, I am glad to see you both. Our meeting is not yet due to commence for several bells. What is the meaning of this? We were worried, and with good reason. These are far too dangerous times to be roaming about alone, Your Grace. Some things never change, but I assure you I'm quite capable of looking after myself in my own city of all places. More importantly, I wish to observe firsthand how the people have been faring of late, that I might be better prepared to participate in our discussion later, but I have finished. Yet you will be comforted here? Then pray allow us to escort you to more amenable surroundings. Would you care to ride on my shoulder? Certainly not. You have already attracted more than enough attention. I thank you all for making the journey here during these difficult times. It is my pleasure to properly make your acquaintance. On behalf of the people of Eorzea, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude for your continued dedication to our cause. With respect, Your Grace, I'm just a soldier. Was a soldier. Still, I say, Commander Aldine would not make such a distinction, and neither will I. You yet serve your people, and have provided solace to many of Alamigo's most vulnerable. If we are to deal with this threat, we must forearm ourselves with knowledge. I understand you come bearing information regarding the blasphemy and its victims? We have indeed. It's the need to locate families of Crania Lupi members who have fled to Thanalane. There's no end to the struggles faced by Alamegan refugees, and those who once pledged allegiance to the Empire are no exception. But rest assured that irrespective of their pasts, all will be treated with an even hand. All will be afforded such aid as I am able to provide. Magnanimous as always, Your Grace. If I might be so bold, I have a question. What do you have in mind for those most at risk of undergoing the change? I believe there is but one recourse. Earnest and open dialogue. While some are born into unimaginable wealth, others suffer great hardship and oppression. The circumstances of our birth are beyond our control. Our fate subject to the whims of the gods, some would argue. I once thought myself a prisoner to my fate, a figurehead, helpless to watch on as my people starved. As a powerless puppet, I wanted nothing more to cast it all aside, to free us all, but failed from my naivety, and then was afforded a second chance for my privilege. The world is unfair, terribly so, but we have the power to push back against inequalities and injustices. If not overcome them on blessed occasions, to love our neighbor and share in life's bounties, to open our hearts and come together as one. True words were never spoken. But without the support of the people, such words are naught but vain platitudes. Thankfully, my recent attempts to make inroads with the monetarists have met with some success. Despite offering views on many subjects, we yet strive to find common ground. Common ground. We've been pouring all our efforts into aiding families of the Crania Lupi, and while it seemed to help to a degree, some have still succumbed and turned. Of course, they're not the only ones in danger. Alamegans everywhere, whether they sided with the Empire, fought for the resistance, or were caught in the middle. They all suffered. They all wake up in the night at times, haunted by memories of death and despair. We know what can happen if those feelings are left to fester. The legacy of the Imperial occupation will not soon be forgotten, but rather than seek to forget, mayhap it is necessary to remember, to acknowledge and accept the truth of it, that they may properly mourn those they have lost. Aye, a remembrance. I propose we hold a memorial ceremony for those who died during the war. Everyone, no matter who they were or what they did, let them be loved, let them be hated, but above all, let them be remembered. And in the remembering of the dead, in their honor and their sin, we the living of Alamigo may yet find a sliver of common ground. It's a noble sentiment, but bringing together people who have reason to distrust one another and risk inflaming tensions could be a recipe for disaster. Then again, we can't help ignoring the merit in the room and do nothing to address the situation. As long as we leave it to the individuals to decide whether or not to attend the ceremony, I think it's worth a try. Organizing an event of this scale will require a great deal of effort, so I offer my full support. Once you know what's needed, come to me and we'll put the plan into action. Obviously, some will balk at the idea, which is perfectly understandable, so I'll be listening to their opinions as well. After all, we want it to be a ceremony that brings Alamegans together. And I was wondering, Your Grace, if I might ask about your approach to, well, talking to people, winning them over. As you can tell, I'm no politician, so I'd be grateful for any advice you could share with me. Why, I would be delighted to. As a matter of fact, I have a number of matters I wish to discuss with you. And on that note, I suggest you and I return to Alamigo. Alright. I knew Orenwald would make a good impression, but he's outdone himself. Not only has he found a new avenue in life to explore, he's taken to it with considerable aplomb. While his proposed memorial ceremony is bound to have its detractors, I have faith that many will come around. Not all, but enough. But enough, I pray. For our part, we must stand at the ready for whatever may occur. I shall send word if there are any developments. There you are, David. Commander Aline has asked me to convey you the following information. At present, we are looking into the reports of missing relatives of the Crania lupi. The cooperation of the Silver Griffins, we are currently searching for any clues as to their whereabouts. Thanks to the concerted efforts of Ragenfried and the others, the general public has been willing to cooperate with our investigation. Though many still harbor feelings of distrust for the collaborators and their kin, they've grown more receptive to our cause on the whole. Arnwald's been making steady progress in preparing for the memorial ceremony. He plans to host a meeting between the various community leaders to go over the finer details. In fact, he was wondering whether you could assist in delivering the invitations. If you can spare the time, you should be able to find them in the Mercantile District. Anyway, that's all for now. I have a few more matters to attend to, so if you'll excuse me, duty calls. Okay, Mercantile District. Thanks for coming. It should come as no surprise that planning a memorial ceremony for a whole bloody nation would keep a man busy. But by Rager, this is something else. The hardest part's been gathering information on those who died in the war, especially when it comes to the skulls and other conscripts, and they're the ones we need to treat most carefully. If we don't acknowledge the crimes of our kin in all their painful truth, then we do a disservice to their victims, living and dead. But if we let people paint them as monsters who did monstrous things we believe we would never do, then we perpetuate the different but no less dangerous lie. As for preparing the event itself, I'll be holding a meeting with members from each of the settlements around Garabania. I've sent invitations to most of them already. But I was hoping you'd help me with the last two. There's Miraz Nun and the Peering Stones, and Sarisha and Vera Nilia. I'll give you one for each. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they refused, considering how the people suffered at the hands of the skulls. But I hope we can remind them that deep down, we're all just people trying to survive, to protect our loved ones. We may have driven the Empire from our lands, but as long as we hold fast to the grudges born of their attempts to divide and set us against one another, we'll never be free of their legacy of cruelty. With that in mind, I've included an account of my experiences with the Silver Griffins and the people I've met. Victims, collaborators, their friends, and their family. Men and women who lived through it all, survivors. Even if they refuse to join the ceremony, at least they will know, and hopefully understand their reasons for holding the event. Granted, I've not had much practice in writing important letters, but I think they'll get the message. You being the one to deliver them will make a world of difference, I'm sure. Take care, won't you? Okay. You'd go here at the Peering Stones. What's this guy? Greetings, friend. It has been too long since last we spoke. What brings you to my village? This. Not sure if you're gonna like it or not. So the rumors are true. I need not read this letter in full to know its contents. I understand that Ragenfried's volunteers are working to support the families of those lost in the war, which few will deny is a worthy cause, but to include the relatives of the Crania Lupi. The Skulls watched the Empire slay us in our thousands, and still they turned their cloaks and fought for our oppressors. You would ask us to mourn the deaths of those curs alongside their victims? You have every right to be angry and to refuse. Our involved wishes only that you read his account before coming to a decision. To dismiss it out of hand would be discourteous. Very well. Family. As none, my tribe is my family, and I know all too well the responsibility that brings. I would do anything to protect them. Anything. Loyalty, pride, conscience, my very soul. All are meaningless if I cannot ensure the safety of those I love. I suspected some skulls had been faced with the selfsame choice, but to see how their kin suffered, I cannot say I do not understand. Though I wish that I did not. Their crimes will never be forgiven. They cannot be. But I and any others who are willing can offer our prayers for those tortured souls and the men they could have been. I accept the invitation, not on behalf of the M tribe, but as Mraznun, though I will put the question to my people that they may decide for themselves. I am also eager to make the acquaintance of the person who wrote this letter. He is not wont to turn a blind eye to the bitter truth, painful though it is to confront. The meeting will be the perfect opportunity to take this measure. He's nice. Now I need to fly up. There. Oh, are these snake people? Yep, they are. So, I thought they'd be them. Welcome. To what do we owe the pleasure of your visit? This, not sure if you'll like. Then it is as I suspected. There have been rumors that such a ceremony would take place. Although you have traveled far to make this invitation, I must decline. We cannot mourn the loss of the fallen if the Crania Lupi are to be counted among them. Like the Kalyana, they chose to aid the Garlean oppressors, killing and bleeding for those who would pillage our lands, cowards and traitors all. And we are to assume that Kalyana, who died fighting for the Empire, will be honored as well. If so, that is all the more reason for us to refuse. That is your right, and no one will say otherwise. I come only to present a letter and ask that you read it in full. If you insist. No one was spared suffering in the occupation. Not the resistance, not the collaborators, not the families of both. No one. That so many would die in shame and ignominy, having sold their souls only to lose everything, is a tragedy and a lesson. If they are forgotten, then the lesson of their folly is forgotten. For the sake of this land we all come. I will join you in remembrance and implore my people to do the same. In mourning may we strengthen our ties with our neighbors as well. By together facing our past, we can build a foundation for lasting peace and prosperity. It would be my honor to attend that proposed meeting, and I look forward to personally thanking your friend Arenvald for his dedication. I and my peers have much to learn from the example he has set. So far, this quest line is pretty good. It's focusing more on the people of Alamigo rather than the blasphemy, which is definitely different. So how did you fare in the fringes? They both accepted. They said that about me. It's rare for me to get such glowing praise, especially from renowned leaders like Sarisha and Mraznan. More importantly, though, they agreed to attend the meeting, and I've got you to thank for that. After all, I imagine it's hard to turn down an invitation when it's hand-delivered by the Warrior of Light herself. Before I get ahead of myself, though, I must remember that this is only the beginning. Bringing everyone together is one thing. Coming to an agreement on an extremely divisive issue is a different kettle of fish entirely, as her Grace was quick to point out. But as she's taught me, if our cause is just and our hearts are true, those of like minds will surely answer the call. And answer they have. Well, there are bound to be differences of opinion. I'm sure there's nothing we can't overcome if we put our minds to it. To that end, I was hoping you could join us, if you've the time to spare. There's still a few loose ends. Ragenfried and I need to tie up beforehand, so we'll meet you in the palace as soon as we can. Just having you there will make a world of difference. Here for the meeting, yes? Yes, I am. I have a bad feeling something bad's gonna happen. So while we all agree upon the importance of the ceremony, we recognize that the inclusion of the craniolupi will be distressing for many. I too lost family at their hands, and I would never ask others to forgive and forget. But for all their crimes, they were Alamegans just like us. None made the decision to side with Garlemald lightly. They had a choice, and they chose to betray us. I agree. Who among us have not made difficult choices for kith and kin? And do not forget that Fordola chose to stand between us and the Primal. What does that have to do with it? Brothers and sisters, arguing will avail us not. The fate of Alamigo rests on my shoulders and yours, on those of every man, woman, and child that calls these lands home. To uphold our honor, to strive for prosperity, protect our loved ones. We all know the weight of these responsibilities. 'Twas that self-same weight which drove many of our people to serve our oppressors, misguided as it was. And though they chose a different unconscionable path, in the end, we all wanted the same thing, to deliver our families from persecution, that they might live to see one more day, because another day in shame and self-hatred was still better than none at all. The regretful dead are survived by their despair, a despair which threatens to drag us all into an abyss where there is no escape. Now that it surely will Know that it surely will if we welcome it into our hearts out of disdain for those we cannot forgive. But we Alamegans will not be so easily defeated. We will stand united and conquer this menace. Every Alamegan who fought and died did so in the hopes that one day we would be free. Now we are free. We are free. By the blood of our fallen brothers and sisters, we are free. We are to lock away the pain and pretend it has no power over us, until it festers and takes us in our beds, and free to lay it bare and let it breathe, to acknowledge and to mourn our people at their best and their worst. The past is ours to bear, all of it, for ourselves and for future generations, so that they needn't suffer like we did. Let us make Alamigo a nation where no man is left behind. You can make all the wrong choices and still be afforded the chance to make a right one. That's Arnvald got everyone to come around on the idea. That went better than any of us would have hoped for. You have my gratitude for your part in the proceedings, but we both know who the real hero of the day was. This is all Arnvald's idea, and it was his words that finally won over the naysayers. Know that we have the community leaders on our side. We should have a much easier time convincing the rest of the citizenry. Of course, holding the ceremony is by no means our final objective. No matter what we say, someone will refuse to attend. It is my hope, however, that it will still serve to provide a measure of closure for us all, and to ease the plight of the vulnerable and ostracized. Speaking of which, you recall the incident with Fordola and Alagana? The young girl she saved and her mother wished to thank her personally. Considering what happened last time, though, I have reservations. It might be a valuable opportunity to present a former skull in a more positive light. On the other hand, I don't need to tell you how unpredictable she can be. And that's before taking her echo into consideration. But that's a conversation for another day. Go and get some rest. You've earned it. My mind went blank. Something terrible has happened. In only like a few seconds? It's Fordola. She's escaped. She was accompanying a squadron out on a training exercise. One moment she was there and the next she was gone. I didn't think much of it at the time, but she's been acting strangely ever since she went to meet that mother and child. You know, the ones who wanted to thank her for saving the girl's life? When I told Commander Aldine about it, he went about charging off to Alagana to ask them if they have any idea where Fordola might be. I thought about going after him, but when I heard you were headed this way, I reckoned it'd be better to send you in my stead. Godspeed, Devel. Oh, down here. Where's that bike from? I want that bike. Gods be good, what is she thinking? Have we done something wrong? I know you. You're friends with the brave lady, aren't you? Davel, I wasn't expecting to see you here. You've heard what happened then? Yep. Just as Fordola was beginning to earn our trust, she'd given us the slip. As you may know, she wears a choker enchanted to prevent exactly that. If I were to give the order, she would be dead within moments. And she knows that. She took the risk anyway, so I have to believe she has a good reason. That's what we're looking into now. We're hoping Clairol and young Lily here could shed some light on the matter. We'd like to ask you about your conversation with Fordola, if we may. Yes, of course. I know she's the butcher, or was at least, but it didn't seem right to go without thanking her. That's why I requested the meeting, to express my gratitude and my apologies. She was quiet at first. She stood there as we spoke, as if she weren't even listening. And then I mentioned the blasphemy, and she looked at Lily, and all of a sudden clutched her own head and cried out in agony. The echo. Can you remember what you were thinking about at the time? A man. The one I saw in the city. What? Who? Did he have something to do with all those people panicking? I think he did. When I was waiting for you, I saw him. He was by himself. He looked poorly, so I asked if he was all right, and he said yes. He had a nice smile. He got up and started walking, but then... He was shouting and screaming. I was so frightened, I didn't want to talk about it, not even to Mum. I wish you'd said something sooner. I'm sorry, Poppet. This is my fault for leaving you on your own. The man who turned into a blasphemy, I'd wager. The girl saw him, which means Fordola has now seen him too. There was one other thing. When Fordola was having her funny turn, he said something. Charlotte, I think. Yes, that was it. Ring any bells? Can't say it does, but if he has anything to do with the skulls, the Silver Griffin should have some information on him. We'd best have a word with Dragonfried then. You've both been very helpful. I'd also like to thank you for being so kind to Fordola. She may not have said it, but I'm sure it meant a lot to her. I have a couple more things I'd like to ask, so I'll catch up with you later. Okay, they're saying the same exact things. I have a feeling that Charlotte and Fordola are connected in some way. Charlotte, you say? Yes, that name came up during our recent investigations. As I recall, he served under the Viceroy during the occupation, and his whereabouts is currently unknown. Had an older brother named Ansfrid, one of the Crania Lupi, which would give him a connection to Fordola. Is there anyone who can tell us more about him? Yes, an uncle, who we recently helped find employment here in Alagana. He's actually the one who asked us to look for Charlotte. You most likely find him at the Sleeping Stones, as it happens. I was planning to bring him something to eat. I'll join you there shortly. Wrong way. This way. He goes all the way over here. He was going to go walk all the way over here just to bring him food. Perhaps we should have asked what he looks like. Still looking, eh? That's him, over there. I hope we're not interrupting. No, no, of course not. It's good to see you, Ragnfrid. My word, the Bull of Alamigo, and the Champion of the Alliance. What brings such esteemed guests to a humble, quarry? At ease, my good fellow. We merely wish to ask you about your nephew. Charlotte, you found him? No luck yet, then. Is there anything else you can tell us? More about his childhood, perhaps? Wasn't much of one, I'm afraid. Poor boy's life was ruined long before he had any say in the matter. His parents and I swore allegiance to Garlemald to secure ourselves and our kin's citizenship. For all the good it did us here, living amongst our countrymen who treated us as pariahs, took its toll on him and his brother. To be spat on as traitors by association. One thing led to another, and Ansfrid, together with most of his friends, joined the Imperial Army. That's how it started, you know. The Crania Lupi, guys, his loyal little pups. Do you remember the name of these friends? Yes, they had quite the reputation growing up. There was Emmeline, Rudolph, and the angry little girl who'd grown up to become the butcher herself, Fordola. Charlotte was part of their group too, yes, but from what we've heard, he chose not to become a soldier. Wouldn't have lasted a day in training. He knew that better than anyone, of course, not that it helped him to feel any less guilty for turning his back on the others. He blamed himself for their deaths, for not stopping them when he had the chance, for not being strong enough to fight by their side. Maybe save them, maybe not. But he wasn't there, and he wished he had been, and he wished he had been. Then one day, he was gone. Wherever he is, I hope he's safe and well. So do we, thank you. The information you've shared should prove useful. And for you, I brought some food. Why don't you call it a day and go enjoy it with your family? Let him have the peace for now. Back to Alagana. So not only was his brother a member of the Skulls, but Charlotte himself was a childhood friend of Fordola's. I'm told he refused the support of the Silver Griffins as well. He's been trying to make his own way for some time now. His brother and his friends died at Specula and Taurus, save for Fordola, and the gods only know how he felt about her after that. Or how Fordola felt about Charlotte after seeing Lily's memories of him transforming into a blasphemy. Brother of a man she killed, and a childhood friend besides. She thinks she's responsible for this. That's why she ran, to kill the beast. Never thought I'd say this, but I'm worried about her. Fordola is a survivor and an outcast. Exactly the sort of person the Silver Griffins are trying to support. You've seen for yourself the sacrifices she's willing to make. And if you can learn to feel sympathy for her, maybe others can too. I think we have enough information for the time being. Let's return to the city and plan our next move. Okay. Next one should be the last quest of the healer quest line. And then what? There's the master role quest line? Let me see. Side stories. Yep. I wonder what that's going to entail. I've assigned a few of my soldiers to assist the Silver Griffins in investigating Charlotte's background. With luck, we'll find them quickly, and then we can prepare for what must come after. We're all but certain Charlotte's the one who transformed into a blasphemy, so there's naught to be done but put him out of his misery. As for Fadola, I've put Monago and her troops in charge of tracking her. Once they've found her, they have my permission to lend whatever support they deem necessary. If it comes to it, I may ask you to join the search. Until such time, I ask that you take this opportunity to rest. Okay, and before I accept this quest, I am going to go on a quick break. Okay, I should be back. Thank goodness you're here. Commander Aldine needs to see you right away. Follow me. Keep it contained until I arrive, but do not engage if you can help it. Understood? That was Monago. Her unit has found Fordola, or rather, she has found them. In fact, I have Fordola on the search party's link pearl. She wants a word with you. One second. That's not what I want. There we go. This is urgent, so be quiet and listen. The blasphemy, my friend, is right in front of us. I tracked him down, and when he spotted me, he started heading towards Specula Imperatoris. Look, Davel, I need your help. Charlotte's not... He never wanted to hurt anyone, but this thing he's become is... I can't leave him like this. I've got to stop him, whatever it takes. I'm on my way. I owe you. This is Monago, can you hear me? You've got to blast me surround... They were cut off. Okay, it's on the move. Get ahead of it, but maintain distance. We need to... Fordola, what are you doing? Fordola. There's no time to waste. They need our help. Well, hello, Moonbear. Thank you for following. I appreciate it. Rager's beard. Once she's got her mind set, there's no stopping her. She's convinced herself she's responsible for this mess, that she created the blasphemy single-handedly. All I ask is that you see she makes it out of this alive. She's come so far, and I don't want to lose her. Radiata and Alagiri are not that far from Speculum Imperatoris. If we let the blasphemy slip through our fingers, it doesn't bear thinking about. While Fordola is determined to slay it by her own hand, we cannot allow her recklessness to put the lives of others in jeopardy. The time has come for action. Are you ready? Very much so. I like the design of this one. Hold the line for as long as you can. Commander Aline and the Warrior of Light will be here any moment. Stay strong. Damn, he just kicked it in the knee. You've done well. Leave the rest to us. Yes, sir. Get the injured to safety. Coward. Coward. Traitor to them, to everyone. Oh, finally, I'm getting an echo vision. I wish there was another way. So do I, but fighting's the only thing I'm any good at. Makes me wonder how I ended up with such a clever brother. Too clever for my own good, maybe, Just the thought of going into battle, about getting hurt, about having to hurt other people. He's a bleeding heart, our Charlotte. Sooner befriend a fly than shoo it away, much less kill it. I could kill if I wanted. I could. But you don't, and there's no shame in that. Leave the soldiering to us, Charlotte. We'll show the Garleans what we're capable of, get the power and respect we deserve, and then things will change. You'll see. We found a place for ourselves, and you'll find yours soon enough. Alright, that'll do. Everyone who's enlisting, meet back here tomorrow. In the end, what good did I do? They gave everything they had to give while I hid like a rat, waiting for the storm to pass. Coward, coward, coward. And that's when he changed, I guess. Coward, coward. Better dead, better forgotten. Oh, she's feeling that. It's not your fault, Charlotte. It's not. You didn't do anything wrong. And no. You don't be changing, Fordola. I'm the coward, the traitor, the butcher. I'll always be the butcher. We don't need you changing right now. Don't you dare, Fordola. Good on her. You don't get to end it. You don't get to give up. I won't let you. You have a lifetime to make amends and atone, to become something more than you were. But if you die here, you are everything they say, everything you believe. Is that what you want? She's not going anywhere. Orenvald, why are you here? There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I can't fight by your side, but I can still cheer you on. I've seen your past, Charlotte. How you were left behind while your friends rushed into battle. It's bloody hard, isn't it? Wanting to do something so desperately with every fiber of your being, knowing that you should be able to. You should, but you can't. So you find another way to support them. Your way. You did that too, didn't you? You were there for them, even if it didn't feel like it. But you were, Charlotte. You were. As a friend of mine once said, not all heroes are forged in the fires of battle. The history of Alamigo is right in blood. While we cannot change the past, we can change the future. And for that, we must all play our part. All of us. You too, Fordola. Mansfred and Millen, one day, we'll be together again. But not yet. You'd never hurt anyone, Charlotte. That's not who you are. You'll be remembered as the kind soul you always were. I really like this questline. It's my favorite one. I'm counting on you. My favorite role questline. Okay.
As one!
Okay, gotta keep an eye on them. What are these? Oh, keep away from it. Okay. Oh, I've been paralyzed. Oh no, I'm dead. I'm dead. I think I'm dead. Oh, he's protecting me.
Show them what we're made of! Arizona!
Like that.
Try this!
And he's dead. Oh, what's going on with her? That was nice to see. Thank you. I mean it. I've been looking everywhere for you. Cordola's come a long way. Have you now? Put down the last remaining beast spawned by the blasphemy. 'Tis a pity we could do not for those who turned, but that we were able to prevent further casualties is nothing short of a miracle. It's astonishing, too, looking back at Charlotte's case. Although his existence spurred others to transform, he never attacked any settlements or travelers. Even when he underwent the change in the middle of a crowded street, those who were present escaped with minor injuries at worst. I think that deep down, his compassion is what kept the raging blasphemy at bay. The only time he emerged from hiding was to journey to the place where his brother died. It's clear he still retains some semblance of his former self. Another victim of the Empire's terrible legacy, along with his friends and so many others. But the Crania Lupi wasn't the creation of the Imperials alone. Many of those youths sought a place with them because they were denied one with us. That's why the memorial ceremony is so important. It's our chance to face our past together, to give them in death what we couldn't in life, to not deny anyone a place in memory, even if it hurts to make us feel ashamed. Even if it hurts or makes us feel ashamed. You'll be attending, won't you? Haven't been ordered to, so I suppose not. In light of your leal service to Alamigo, I intend to have the conditions by which you are bound eased. Providing I'm able to obtain approval, you will be granted a degree of freedom. At the very least, you should soon have no need for that choker. There'll be no objections from me. You've done well. That made her happy. I could see the grin on her face. If I didn't know better, I'd think you were smiling. Well, I, for one, couldn't be happier her efforts are being recognized. It gives me that much more motivation to continue my work with the Silver Griffins. and to bring the people of Alamigo closer together. Got to do my best to keep up with a certain little lordling, I. Alphino. I think we've done enough for one day. Time we got some rest. Am I going to see the memorial service? Allow me, as both the guardian of Alamigo and as your swarm comrade, to express my thanks for coming to our aid in these desperate times. No matter what manner of disaster may befall us, your presence alone is enough to keep the flame of hope burning bright. Aye, even someone on the very precipice of despair, such as Fordola, can find salvation in your guiding light. Heaven forbid people would stop throwing themselves in harm's way at every opportunity. And put you healers out of a job? Not a chance. Though, in all seriousness, we could all stand to take fewer risks. In any case, it's safe to say we've all benefited enormously from your sterling work here. We couldn't ask for a better healer or a better friend. Our ambassador in Razat will be relieved to learn of our successes here. If you happen to cross paths, give him my regards, would you? Am I not going to see the memorial service? Maybe in the Master Role quest line. Maybe in the Master Role quest line we'll check in on all the areas I helped. Greetings, how goes it in Alamigo? Well, the problem's been fixed. Eliminating blasphemies, helping organize a memorial ceremony. They've certainly kept you busy. A fine example of going above and beyond the call of duty. I'll be sure to send word of your exploits to Ul'dah. Wait till the Sultana hears about this. Your Grace will not be the only one to welcome this news. On behalf of the Grand Company of Eorzea and our allies, allow me to express my most heartfelt gratitude. Now die the healer.